No, guys. Okay, I am recording. All right. E-learning kids, I'll just say this once. I don't know exactly who is e-learning right now, but remember, I would like you guys to come to the meetings if you can. I think it's a better way of like watching the class than watching it later. But if you're into that, I guess that works. But make sure you are watching these at some point. But mostly the only person hearing this is the people in second period, and you're fine. You know what to do. I am recording. Okay. Oh, just in case. I really don't think. But if anybody wants to enter this session right now. All right, guys. So, okay, what's the plan for January? It's basically we want to be back where we were before the weird reset by February. So, if you're like kind of like still weirded out by my decision to merge the classes, that should hopefully subside pretty soon. So we're gonna talk about 15 and 16. We touched on 15 before the midterm. It's like the big numbers chapter, so not that bad. We'll talk about 16 in the class today. That's kind of the focus for the week. The idea is we're going to focus on 16 this week, 17 next week, and then after that, we're back to chapter 18, which is passive voice, and that's when things get like a little gnarly again, and hopefully kind of interesting to people and very doable to most of you guys, like newly doable. In a way, it wasn't months ago. It seemed a little like overly difficult. And then for the 1.5 kids, you guys just gonna be a hard class for the rest of your whole life. So, but we will help you, and I will grade you a little bit. You guys do have homework this week. It's in the textbook. I don't see like the other is. So ignore this. It's on the board, and so that is due Thursday. Use your planners. I don't have a printout of it. I want to start using textbooks again more this semester. I like print it out every semester. So there's that, but I'll remind you tomorrow for sure. And then all of this is completely wrong for you. So, well, mostly just this. Congratulations, guys. Welcome back. No quiz this week, rather. So Friday, we'll do some kind of review game. And we'll wait. We'll hold off. And next Friday, we'll do a combination of chapter 16 and 17, meaning I'll pick like 15 vocab words from both of those chapters. And there'll be a couple of sentences that you get prepped for next week. And then we'll be done with 16 and 17. So instead of having a quiz this week, we'll have like a slightly bigger one next week. Any questions? All right, we are on the road to chapter 30. We're not going to quite get to 30. Well, we'll get close. We'll get dang close. And then next year, guys, if we hire a sweet Latin teacher and I fully trust them, I will probably motion to let you guys have that person, as long as they're cool. If they're like mean or something, I'll try to teach you guys. But anyway, it's our last year next year, right? We're gonna finish the textbook. You guys are gonna be like super sick of me at that point. Be fine, and then you'll be done. You can move on to German or Spanish after that. At least those are what the options are for next year. So hopefully that'll be the case in like 2 years from now. Anyway, you're gonna be able to finish the textbook like really easily next year at a somewhat leisurely pace. And our goal for this year or the semester is just to get about like 12 chapters further. So you guys are still kind of on track to do really well with the textbook. Yeah.
Why German? I think they should do French because we're having the Europe trip, and that's like near France and Italy.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if the places are up in the air now, because I know we delayed it or what. Like it's still happening, but it's delayed. And yeah, we're not going to Germany. So I get your point. I don't know. I think it's awesome that German's going to be offered because that's really rare in a high school. Latin, Spanish, and French are pretty standard, but German is like kind of wild. Apparently, Charlie was saying it was more common when he was younger. But like when I was a kid, I never was offered German. I would jump at a chance to take a German class. That is, I don't know. That's really sweet. So German will be less like Latin than French, Spanish, or Italian. If you're kind of intimidated by language and you don't like a whole new paradigm, I would maybe go to Spanish after Latin, and like that should be easier, I think. But I wouldn't totally know for sure. I don't know what the teachers' classes are like, or I still need to check out Miss Daggerpunt's textbook. And yeah, we're gonna get to Constantine finally, and you guys will probably know thousands of Latin words. All right, let's run through these. You guys are gonna rate these for me. And 1.5 kids, this is honestly your chance. Please tune in. I know how rough this might be to come back your first day back, and you're getting back in the groove, like you guys are saying, like hitting the ground running, and that might be pretty dreadful. But really try to like tune into as I go through these chapters real quick, just to like see what parts of these chapters you're like, oh, you know what, I like don't know that yet. Mr. Kellogg tried to teach us 5 chapters in the course of like a month, and I just straight up don't know hick I cock. And just like know that, and like if you share that with me, that'd be really helpful for me. And it's just good for you to know what you like don't know yet, if that makes sense. But okay, starting in chapter 9 is when it gets weird. That's when the 1.5 kids like got super accelerated. And so hic haec hoc is this like horribly bland singular pronoun that means this in the singular and these in the plural. And that's kind of all there is to it. Translating it is not that hard. What is weird is that sometimes, especially in the plural, it starts even looking like hic haec hoc. Like at least in the singular ones, they all end in C, hic haec hoc. But then those C's disappear, and you have like heath and horum and hos and has. And you might look at those and think like they're from a totally different word. You're not sure what word they're from. Maybe ora, which means hour. But if you can remember that it's just hic haec hoc, then it's just like the question of like, is it singular or plural? This or these. And then does it have a buddy? Is it like next to something like hic discipulus, the student? Or is it next to nobody and I need to add the appropriate gendered pronoun, meaning like man for hic or woman for haec? And that's it. That probably sounds like a lot, but like that's all that's going on with it. And then also the other thing is you have to remember that illid is that or those, and that's chapter 9. Not to make it sound like it's really easy, but like that's what it is. So Adrian, how do you feel about that? Good. How would you rate hic haec hoc out of 10? 10 meaning you love it, 0 meaning you hate it, and be honest.
It's okay.
That's not a number, dude. 5. Okay, so you're kind of lukewarm. You're like right in the middle. You're not like hating it, but you're not loving it either. Andrew, what would you give illid? 7. Okay, I appreciate it. That's not like really negative. But again, please be honest, guys. We get some weird additives in this chapter. That's not that big of a deal. They're genitives. Look at their genitives. Just look at them. IUS. Okay, now you know. There's chapter 9. What's Hayden? What's your favorite word in chapter 9? But you started talking again. I heard you. So when some people ask you things, has he done this in other classes, or like I don't even know? Brayden, what's your favorite word in chapter 9? Huh? Totus. Yeah, totus is good because it kind of sounds like total. I wish it could just sort of translate as total, but it's more like whole or entire, but we get total from it. And by the way, Caden, that Taco Bell was fire. I had like 7 chalupas off that one gift card. Y'all, give me Taco Bell gift cards, okay? I like chocolate and other things, but, well, I had a phase with Taco Bell. It might be over, so I'll keep you posted. Yeah, Cora?
My favorite word is Unas, just because it's as one of the definitions.
Yeah, Unis is good. And I think we all know that it sounds like un, or if you played Uno, like French un or Spanish Uno. Or like university, uniform, etc. So good. Love this chapter. Chapter 10 is where the 1.5 kids are now. So 1.5 kids, just think how boring that would be if you were just like learning chapter 5. Like you guys have been elevated and you should or accelerated is the word. And you should be proud of that accomplishment. It's about the 4th conjugation verbs, and they're fine. The whole thing is that the future tense is weird for them. They don't get bobisped. They get question mark, aset, amos, ace. Oh, that's wrong, right? Hiatus. What's going on here? Yeah. They get these long e's, right? They get these long e's. I feel like I typoed really. Like I'm just remembering a typo in my 1.5. All right, and you get a bunch of verbs this chapter. What's your favorite verb here, Sarah? We got to hear, we got to capture, we got to speak, we got like to make, faccio, very open-ended, and then fugio is to flee. Those are some good words actually, low-key. To hear, yeah, I like hear. And what do we get here mixed up with anyone? It'll be tight if you want to remember. It's audeo, right? Audeo means to dare. Audio means to hear. So make sure you look to see that it's like kind of 4th declension or conjugation, and that there's an I, and that means to hear, not to dare. There would be like more of like an E kind of ending maybe in the second, unless it's future tense. All right, great chapter, 10 out of 10. Love it. Really love it. Look at some of these nouns. Via for road. Who uses via? Anyone use via? You're like talking to your parents and like, can I get to basketball practice via my friend's mom driving me? Anyone use via? Don't know what via means? Cam uses via. Okay. It means like by way of, right? So it's like a literal way or a road, but the way we use it in English, it's like more abstract. Chapter 11. Oh, Chapter 11 is rough, right? We get all these pronouns, and we get first person ones, okay? I, my, me, we, our, us, us. And then we get second person ones, you, and y'all. And then we get third person ones. This is where it gets real nasty, right? Because these look crazy. It's like their stem is basically just the letter E. And then they like kind of have recognizable first and second declension endings sometimes, except for the crazy genitive IUS. But I just want y'all to know that on a vocabulary level, it means his or her. Just know it. AM is him. AM is her. Like, try not to look at this and be like, I need to know all of these. Try to like pick out like little things at a time, at one at a time, and learn those, like the accusatives and genitives especially. Betas are horrible. It's just EI. It's not even a word. It's like someone just like fell on their keyboard and like letters happen. But there's the personal pronouns. They're at least more. They seem more useful than demonstratives, right? It's like yeah, we do need words like I, me, you, we, y'all. Like I could probably get by in a foreign country without this or that, but I would probably need personal pronouns. So there they are again, even closer. Oh my gosh, look at these words. Andrew, no, what's his name? Luke, what is your favorite word in chapter 11? They're quite small. Ego? Okay, that's cool. Any reason? You just like it phonetically? Waffle, yeah, okay. The waffle connotation never fails to impress. And what do I like here? Bene is good. I like bene. I think that's like a word in Italian too. Etium I hate. Intelligo. I feel like a lot of y'all never know that word. It needs to understand. Amicus is boring. Amigo's better, you know. Chapter 12. This is the perfect tense. It's real chilled out. It's not bad, okay? It's just that instead of working with these first two parts to form verb endings, we use this third part. And so often there's like a B or an X or like a U. And it should make us think like, oh, this looks a little different than like the normal present tense forms. Maybe it's perfect. And we have these kind of weird perfect tense endings. You translate them the same as imperfect. There's no difference. Just I verb, you verb. You can use have or has if you want. And then pluperfect, they're actually more uniform. ERA. You see these ERAs after what looks to be something coming from the third people part. That is pluperfect, which means more than completed. It's something that's like deep in the past. So we use had to translate those. And future perfect, you never see them. So don't even worry about them. These are weird endings, so watch out for them. They'll get you. They'll get you. How do you feel about the perfect tense? Who that? Who's like real asleep right there? Who? Oh, Keaton. How do you feel about the perfect tense? 1 out of 10. 7. Okay, you guys are kind of chill with Latin. Like what was it? First period, your little sister's class. They were like giving a lot of zeros, a lot of negative. I don't blame them, but probably better to be a little more enthusiastic about learning and acquiring knowledge, of course. And yeah, this is just to say like, let's just stop even differentiating them. Yeah, imperfect and perfect tense endings they're technically different, but we can just translate them the exact same. And let's just move on with our lives. Chapter 13. Oh my, this is the worst chapter for sure. Like there's too much in this chapter. I like it, but I mean it's colorful. So you get reflexive pronouns. Sometimes you hear yourself talk about like a pronoun for like the 100th time in a calendar year, and you're just like, oh, maybe too much. These are reflexive. Does anybody want to explain reflexive pronouns? That'd be sick if we have people in here who like had like that kind of energy, and we're like, I'll teach the class for a second, Mr. C, and like they would just like rattle it. It'd probably not be very good the way they would explain it to this theoretical person, but it would be a chance for me to just like chill for a second. Andrew, how would you describe reflexive pronouns to a person learning Latin for the first time? Since I know you're like a master of them, how would you like if you had to explain it to someone? What would you say? Is it something about PowerPoint? You give them the PowerPoint? Okay, so you wouldn't tell them anything. You would just be like, look. I mean, that's fair, honestly, because like the way I try to put information on the slide, it's like it is supposed to explain itself. Daniel, how would you explain reflexive pronouns? Good luck. I'm not very good at explaining. Well, does the idea of reflection have like, does that help at all? Is that important? I mean, I'm like literally asking myself. I don't know. It kind of is. Like if you're looking at a reflection of yourself in a mirror, You don't say like, oh, I'm looking at me in the mirror. You say, I'm looking at myself. And that's all there is to it. It's when these personal pronouns like me and you become reflexive and they're like myself or yourself. And that's all it is. You're speaking self on the end of like adjectives like your and my and stuff, right? So sorry, Daniel, you're probably about to like be on a roll, and I just like did it for you. But Keaton, how would you rate? So first and second personal pronouns are cool because they can be personal or reflexive, and they just happen to be reflexive if they agree with the person number of the subject. So how would you rate first person word? Because it has who liked ego? So Andrew, you're an ego. How do you feel about first person pronouns? 1 out of 10, 1 through 10. Luke, why am I mixing up Andrew and Luke? That's weird. Luke, what do you think? You got ego, you got may, you got meaty, you got may. Nos. Or nos can be we or us, depending on if it's the subject of the direct object. 5? Okay, so even though you love ego, this still isn't like, maybe that's what saves it from being like really low. Interesting. Third person personal pronouns. They get separate reflexive pronouns that are different than those nasty personal pronouns we were looking at that all start with like e, like at e and stuff. Well, we use sui, sibi, say, and just like depending on what the subject is, you'll translate it as like him or itself or herself or whatever it needs to be to reflect the subject. And then we have these, and it just means his own or her own. Sua, sua, suum. Don't overcomplicate it. It means his or her or its own. That's sua, sua, suum. That's it. Try not to get into sua, sui, sibi, say. And we have intensive pronouns, which are super chill. And those are ipsa, ipsa, ipsum. That means like itself or herself, they kind of modify in an adjective kind of way, a noun, usually what they're next to, unless it's a dropped noun, in which case that's like the only time they're complicated. All right, Sadie, what is your favorite word in chapter 14? Anybody watch any like sick movies over the break? Want to watch Wonder Woman? No? You watch any movies? Some people are like post movies. They like don't, they like evolved past the theater system now that theaters are no longer a thing. Yeah, you technically can't. I think theaters have like actually been open since like August, but yeah, they're like not super popular. They're like losing money. They're like massively failing as businesses at this point. So sad. They'll come back. It'll be fine. Andrew, what was the last best movie you saw? What was like a good family movie you saw? Like with, huh? Is that an anime? Okay. Not familiar. Oh, okay. Is it on Netflix? Okay.
What's the type of voice? Very good. Very happy.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah.
So y'all like all be watching like recent anime films and stuff?
No.
Not all of
It's
you.
just like
Yeah.
But it does seem pretty prevalent. Who in here like straight up like have never seen anime, or they just don't like anime? So that's a slight minority. It's a slight. It's like literally half and half. Okay. So the guys skew anime centric. Oh wait, where's Alyssa?
Alyssa and Chloe are.
Yeah, Alyssa and Chloe, because they like it. Did I mark them? I guess I'll check. I don't know. All right. Okay, I knew it seemed a little smaller in here. We talked about chapter 15 right before the midterm, y'all. It's like a non-chapter. You learn about weird third declension nouns. So instead of doing this, let's go around real quick. And sorry, internet people, this is not going to work super well for you. But I'm just going to run them through the third declension. We're going to see how well people know it or don't know it. And I'm just going to go in a line. So 2.5 kids, pressure's on. If you don't know these, then it's real bad. Whereas 1.5 kids who are looking at their phone in a way that's just like not very efficient in terms of hiding it. Like, I think you guys don't know how eyeballs and perspective lines work. But it will not be too embarrassing for 1.5 kids to not know this. But it will for the rest of you. Guys, honestly, once you're in your 20s, like people on Twitter and stuff love to talk about like, oh, I'm so addicted to my phone, but like I hate that I'm always on my phone. I love like chances when like I can't use my phone at all. And so eventually you'll get there, you'll realize that the phone is like haunting you at all times in modern life. And that times where you can actually like step away from it are actually like beautiful moments where you can be like present and aware, and you'll appreciate that eventually. So, and what I'm saying is like going to school should be to you like your 8-hour chunk where you're like, yeah, I'm just not on my phone during that 8 hours, and then when I get home, like then I go crazy and I'm just on my phone. Sarah, put it away. How did you not catch like all like what? It's blatant.
I'm checking too.
Oh well, then it's fine. If you're checking teams, then no, it's not fine.
You're
not-
I could never do this.
If you're you didn't want to be a laptop kid anymore. You could check teams on laptop. I had a kid like chat me on Teams at 10 o'clock last night. He said, "What happened to my A?" I was like, "What do you mean? What happened to your A? Rude kid." You know, at 10 o'clock. All right. Where were we? Andrew, what is the nominative? I can start with Andrew. No, that's a good part of the class. Yeah, I don't know.
I was sleeping all class.
Well,
It
maybe.
was a very nice sleep, actually. Like, I was very tired, you know, my sleep schedule was really bad. So I'm glad you allowed me to sleep for like at
Two-
least 45 minutes.
2.5 kids, as long as you aren't obnoxious about it, you're allowed to like not only flip with your head down, and especially if someone comes in here, but you're allowed to be like a little less present than 1.5 kids for 2 more weeks. And then after that, you have to be fully listening and participating. Parker, what is the nominative singular of the third declension?
Question.
Yeah, it's a variable. It's a question mark, right? The third declension starts out with a question. Not an answer, alas, it is in fact merely a question, meaning it can end in a variety of ways. We know how the variable x functions in algebraic equations. Cora, what is the genitive singular of the third declension?
I know this.
It's 2 letters. See, this is why the reset was good, guys. You guys get the chance to master the third declension now instead of just kind of like.
I would have been able to answer this before break.
Yeah, well,
Not
okay.
after.
And that's like a very real thing. I mean, even for me, I like find myself coming back from the break like you know, very basic stuff. It's
You
like
have to.
kind of writing, like maybe I'm really onset dementia. Lucy, what is the genitive singular? Not long is, just is. Yeah. Because the fact there is no macron, it's like literally is, it's not is, helps us differentiate it from the long is's that show up in alliterative plural. All right, Andrew, the reason I wasn't messing with Keaton as much is because he was sleeping quietly. Now, you're having a party with Adrian back there. It's a little disruptive. He's doing what?
You're like crunching a hair. It's still just like chilling in his boss.
Okay, that's a strong hair. Let's see. The dative singular, Keaton. Yeah, not a horrible guess, honestly. That shows up somewhere else, actually. No, no. I.
Oh.
No, it's just I. You're right.
Oh,
So this is a long I. The accusative singular Luke. Not um, not um. Oh yes. Ending in M is a good idea. Lucy. Yeah, it's EM, right? Good guesses, Andrew. But this is like the most distinct one. Accusative singular is like, unless they're neutered sometimes, they like to end in M. So first it's AM, second it's UM, which I don't like UM anymore, and then third it's EM. But it's EM. If you see it not ending in EM, that is an accusative. Like that's all there is to it. Like Latin words will never end in EM otherwise. I don't think there's any word adverb that do that. And last but not least, the ablative, Daniel or Caden or Braden. Yeah, it's just E, not even a long E. So the way, like, once you have the singular chart up, I just visually picture, like, dropping the S off of the genitive to get the thing below it, and dropping the M off the accusative to get the ablative below it. Like, we're just, like, letting the consonant fall off to get the next thing. So if you can just remember genitive and accusative, that's a really good idea. And in chapter 14, we learn about these things called IS and third declension. Don't worry about it. I'll never ask you about them. But, like, one of the big perks is, like, they'll end IS and the nominative, too. So depending on the vocabulary word itself, IS could actually just be the nominative. And it's annoying. All right, the nominative plural is what, Elena? What? Oh, you're getting a little ahead of yourself. You just gave Bailey her answer, probably. No U. There's an E, and then there's 2 letters. It's not EM, it's E. Yeah. E. So you got ES. There's probably not good rhyme or reason, but that's actually kind of probably weird at this point. Because at first declension, it's like we have the AE showing up here and here, and then second we have the long I showing up here and here. But there's like here and third, there's no relation between the non-plural and the genitive singular, so we can't do that trick where we're like, it's like how S apostrophe is like S to make something plural in English. So like nominative plural, genitive singular, That doesn't work in third declension in terms of like the logic. Remember, the genitive Bailey is yeah, and this is my least favorite one in third declension. I hate it. Because like it looks like second declension accusative or like a neuter second declension nominative. I don't like it. I don't like it. The dative and the ablative plural of Sarah. This would be wild if Sarah knew this. For 81.5 kid. Or not 21. You don't know? It's 4 letters. It sounds like the sound a Polish frog would make in a children's book. It's obvious, right? Sage. Gammy. Yeah, Ibis. Weirdly, a croaking sound. That's what Slavic people think a croaking sound is. Guys, I'm gonna. Okay, yeah. We only have 5 minutes, but I'm gonna find it today. The chart of like what different languages picture like is the noise that farm animals make. Like we think like what like cows are moo and sheep are baa, but other languages I've talked about this before. I'm obsessed with it. They have like other weird non-words for like. They don't think a pig goes like oink. They think it goes like think of a random like sound, huh? Yeah, something like that where it's like what, like huh? But like for them, like they're like, oh yeah, what does pig does? And then es for accusative plural. Okay, so an es any could make it nominative or accusative plural subject or direct object. We see an overlap between the direct object and subject form a lot of the times. And then let's see if I can get through this so I can try to find that chart. It's gonna be so good.
Like other animals.
All right, the last thing I got like for the midterms is this. It's very legible. It's just the ablative types, guys. We have the ablative of means, which is when you add with yourself, Andrew, and there is no cum in the Latin sentence. You just have to add with yourself. It's like a noun just being the ablative just floating by itself in a sentence, like literas silos, that I wrote the letters with a stylus. And we add with ourselves. It's a mean ablative because it doesn't give us a preposition cum. We have to add it ourselves. So that's why it's mean, right? It's not a nice one. It doesn't have manners, like the ablative of manners, which is when you use cum. So that's not even like, we don't care about the ablative of manners. It's like, it doesn't matter. An accompaniment is when you're doing something with a person. Cum discipulus, with the student. All right, is that about it? It's not. I was technically going to kind of give like notes on the chapter we're starting now. So there's numbers. Those are going to be in the background. After chapter 15, when you get the numbers, they don't show up quite as much. We'll start class tomorrow. Kind of going over them real quick. Oh, and I have all these translations to do. Let's see. Maybe we will start with these translations tomorrow. And for now, I will find farm animal noises. Any questions? Homework's on the board, guys. Computer kids, it's on the board. Chapter 16, page 134. You're doing 6 for Thursday. All right, I'm gonna stop the video there. Did not get as far as I thought. I shouldn't have taken so long on those reviews.